Hey everybody, welcome back. So in this video, what I would like to do is construct a jig to let me properly align a drive shaft that I'm planning on shortening. This is the drive shaft I'm planning on shortening. It's the front drive shaft out of a Jeep XJ. I believe it was one with a manual transmission. I think it's the shortest of all of them. I was hoping if I got the shortest of all of them, I might be able to use it as it is. But the more measurements I take, and you can see some of my measurements back there, the more I realize even the shortest one of them all is still going to be too long and I'm going to have to shorten it. Now, I know what you're starting to type, and you've probably started it before you even started the video if you're watching the video at all. Oh my God, OMG, don't shorten your own drive shaft. You'll kill yourself. Listen, I've shortened multiple drive shafts in my life, and I'm still here talking about it. I worked at a place that shortened drive shafts. It wasn't the shop specialty, but we had the equipment to do it. We had a guy there that did it. I never did it. God knows I watched him enough to do it, and he even showed me how to do it, and I've shortened several of my own. So I know you can't help yourselves. Go ahead and type it, but I'm not going to pay any attention to you. So anyway, here's the deal. I can't actually get my accurate measurements until I get these wedges in the back. And yes, I know I should cut the spring perches and rotate them, and I should pull the axle out. That ain't happening. These are welded spring perches. I'm going to loosen the U-bolts, the U-bolts, put these in, tighten everything down, weld them in place. And then I also have to put this new yoke in, and then I will be able to make accurate measurements. But unfortunately, I ain't doing any of this stuff while it's still 112 degrees or 115 or whatever it is at the moment. It's bad enough being out in the garage. Yeah, 110 in the bloody garage. So what I want to do is get my jig set up so I can roll this nicely. And unfortunately, while I do have a lathe, it's too big to fit in my lathe, so I can't do it in the lathe. I'm not going to try and do it in the vehicle, so tell me that, sure, fine, but I'm not doing that. So I went down to Harbor Freight and I got these little roller things. These cost like, $1 each, and they just have a little ball bearing in them. So I have some 1x1 tubing here. I'm going to take a pie cut out of these. I'm going to turn it into a V shape. I'm going to weld these on, and I'm going to make a little frame under it. I'm using 1x1 tubing because I have a bunch of it that I'm really not doing anything else with. I'm going to start by drawing a pie cut on these and going over to my little Harbor Freight bandsaw on the stand I made. And yes, I know Harbor Freight now sells a Hercules branded stand like this that also has the lower piece like the one I created down there. But you know what? I've already made mine, and mine works good enough for me. So sure, tell me that in the comment section. But yes, I know they make it. I just think I could spend 99 bucks more effectively someplace else. So let me get those pie cuts done. I'm going to tack these things on and make a little frame, and we'll have ourselves a jig so that when the weather calms down a little bit and maybe gets down, the 90 or something like that, I'll be able to get started on all this, and I'll have everything set up and ready to go. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. These are my pieces here, and see, I took the pie cut out, bent it, put a few tacks in it, and you know what? Ouch, that's hot still. That's actually not too shabby for being done by eyeball. If I had to do it over again, I think I would have made it a little bit sharper of an angle, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go with it because I think it'll be fine. I bent these tabs over on these and kind of squoze them together a little bit so they'll fit on there, and then I can squeeze them and tack them. I even put I even ground a little bit of one end down there so they'll fit closer together. Here, let me flip this one. They will go like that. Like that. I'm going to tack them. And then my drive shaft is going to sit there. I'm going to have another one down here. I'm going to put a bar between them, and I'll probably put a bar going down that I can clamp in the vise, and that's going to let me rotate the drive shaft, and I'll be able to check it for straightness. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my finished part in all of its glory. Now, you're probably asking yourself a couple questions. One is, or you're probably first going to say, holy crap, Chuck, that's ugly. What do you expect to do with that? Well, first off, remember, I'm not making this for a customer. I'm making this for me. I expect this to be a single-use tool because I hope I never in my entire life, whatever's left of it anyway, have to shorten another drive shaft. But the cost of shortening drive shafts right now, when I was doing a lot of this stuff in my 20s and 30s, I could have a drive shaft shortened and balanced for $75. It's 3 times that now. And that kind of takes the budget out of the whole budget build plan. You have to buy a you can buy drive shafts for 15, 20 bucks all day long. Now a drive shaft is $75 to $100, and I'm going to pay somebody else $150 to $200 to shorten it. What sense does that make? Just go to Adams or Tom Woods or Tatton and buy one already done. And you say, well, Chuck, just have a local shop make you a drive shaft. Yeah, I asked the price, $800. So no, I got this drive shaft for 70 bucks. I'm going to shorten it for free, and that's what we're going with. Now, why this length? Why did I make these so wide? Well, I made these so wide for a couple reasons. First, I had originally intended on making this a much steeper angle and having them turned with these ears going in. After I looked at it a bit, I thought that wasn't necessary. So they're a little longer because of that, and they're also a little long because I wanted some safety room in case the drive shaft slips off. I don't want it falling off onto my foot. As to why this length here, I measured this drive shaft. It's 30 inches long. I'm thinking I may have to shorten this 4 inches. So I measured this distance here. I subtracted 4 inches from it. I gave myself an extra inch of leeway, and that's why that length there is that way. So let's see how it works. And like I say, this is if I get one use out of this, I'm going to be a happy camper. And now, note when I do this, the joints are going to be off of it. But there you go. I can now rotate this. I can mount a dial caliper, and I've got you know what I might do? I've got one of these magnetic dial caliper mounts. You know what? I could just put it right there on the vise. Ha, look at that. I was thinking, well, I can build something off here for that, but I can put that right off of the vise, and then I can use if I can figure out how to use it, there it goes. I can probably figure out why you want to fight with me. Stop it. Jeez. I can probably figure out a way to get my dial caliper. Look at that, huh? Look at that. It's almost like I knew what the hell I was doing. I don't, but nonetheless. So there is my quickie little jig to let me rotate this drive shaft to kind of make sure that I'm putting it back on straight. So that was what, a half an hour's work on a Monday morning. I'm not too unhappy about that. Maybe 40 minutes. Probably less if I wasn't having to try and make a video out of it. But I'm pretty pleased with that. As soon as it's done, as soon as I'm done with this little tool's probably going to go into a scrap pile, or I may give it to one of you guys if one of you guys think you could use it. But honestly, these little rollers were $1 a piece, and that's probably, I think I paid 20 bucks for a 20-foot length, so that's probably $1.50's worth of scrap. So $5.50 into the tool, I've already got a dial caliper in the mount, so you don't even need this. You could make this out of chunks of steel and just use a crayon or something else in the end. You don't have to have a dial caliper. You can eyeball this. A drive shaft this short, you know what? I just don't think it's that critical. I'm sure you'll all tell me I'm wrong. But anyway, there it is. There's my quickie tool for a Monday morning. And thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.